After you place your order for your SmartWings smart blinds, you'll get a couple of packages that look something like this. And when you start to set up your smart blinds, it should look something like this and this. And when everything is all set up, you should be able to do this while looking like this. Hey guys, Bo HD here, professional tech reviewer, and I have two different SmartWings smart blinds installed at my home. I have the Motorized Drapery rod unit that will open and close your curtains horizontally along a rod or a track. And I have light filtering roller shades that will roll up and down vertically. So if you're interested in either of these two style of blinds for your home, your studio, your office, whatever it might be, you're in the right place. Now, these aren't just motorized blinds you can control with a remote. No. These are smart blinds that can be controlled with your voice using voice assistants like Amazon Alexa and the Google Assistant, as well as Apple's HomeKit and Siri. For me personally, I have mine set up with the Amazon Alexa since that's the smart home assistant that's ubiquitous in my home, but more on that later. First, I want to say that SmartWings is the first motorized blinds company or product that support Matter, which is a relatively new smart home standard that allows devices to be connected to multiple platforms natively. They also support Thread, they support Zigbee and Z-Wave, among other wireless protocols. So there's a very good chance that they will work with your smart home system that you already have installed in your home. I'm just gonna go ahead and segue right into how it functions. So smart home functionality with these smart blinds is fairly simple and limited, but very powerful once implemented. In the Alexa app, you'll be able to set up a routine to open and close your blinds completely or by the exact percentage. At first, when I was going through the app, I was like, is this it? This can't be all that I'm able to control. But then I realized the power of routines and integrating the open and close functions with your voice and other hardware, sensors, and gadgets that you might have. So the main routine I use is voice control. I have it set up so that when I say Alexa, enter studio, it'll open my blinds just enough for me to get inside. And if I want the blinds to be, opened more, I'll say Alexa, open blinds halfway. And if I want the blinds to be completely open, like all the way, I'll just say Alexa, open studio blinds. And I have set up the same routines to close the blinds, just instead of open, I say close, obviously. Now, since my studio is essentially an ADU that's in front of my house, I have to be a little bit more conscious of theft and security in general. So I have routines set up to close my studio blinds when I leave my house. That way, nobody can see inside. For the roller shades that are installed in my living room, I created a routine to have them open at sunrise and close at sunset. That way I can maximize the sunlight for my plants and maintain privacy in the evening hours. Again, there are just a ton of different configurations and routines that you can enable in the app, whichever assistant you're using, Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, and HomeKit. Everything from opening and closing the blinds when sound is detected to opening and closing when a sport game is ending. You can even order like motion sensors to pair with these blinds. I think it'd be pretty cool to get a temperature sensor that's set up to lower the blinds when it reaches a certain temperature. That way my plants, they don't overheat since my roller blinds are on a south-facing window. I don't have that set up just yet, but in the future, I might just do that. But for me, I mostly just use my voice and the remote, both of which work great. So each unit comes with its own remote and remote holder that you can mount to a wall, and each remote can sync up to multiple blinds. You get 5 channels on the default remote, but you can actually order a remote with support for up to 15 channels or 15 different blinds. And the range is pretty great. Even with multiple obstructions, I have no problem opening my studio blinds from inside my house, some 30 to 40 feet away from my studio and through multiple walls and obstructions. Now you might be wondering how these blinds are powered. There are multiple options. You can plug them into a 12-volt power supply that plugs directly into the wall, which is actually how my studio blinds are being powered. You can use a battery-powered motor that offers around 4 to 6 months of power with standard usage, or you can power them with solar panels that can be mounted to the inside of the window and they'll charge the battery. So it's just a few hours of sunlight each day. You don't have to worry about charging the battery or plugging the motor into a wall. So that's pretty cool. And that's actually probably what I'll upgrade to at some point since I do have south-facing windows. Until then though, I'm just gonna use battery power. When it's low, all you have to do is plug in a USB-C charging cable into the motor at the top of the unit. It's not the most convenient location, I'm gonna be totally honest. So I would recommend you connect to a portable battery pack that you can just kind of set nearby. That offers, a lot more flexibility there. Again, it's not super convenient, but you should only have to do this like 2 to 3 times a year, ideally only twice. Another thing to consider too is the sound. So you don't want these motors to be super loud when they're rolling up or closing, especially if it's a frequent occurrence. SmartWings clocks these blinds in at about 46 decibels, which is like a refrigerator hum or maybe a quiet conversation. So it's not whisper quiet, but it's not really bothersome either. It should sound something like this. Okay, now let's talk about my least favorite thing about these blinds. Without question, it is the setup and installation. These blinds come with an instructions guide that does a fairly good job describing what you need to do, but it still reads like it's written by someone overseas, and more clarification could be given with the Drapery unit in particular. Specifically with step 4, when it comes to installing the overlap arm and the slip part, what you need to do is actually screw the 2 plastic parts together, which wasn't totally clear to me in the instructions. The good news is that customer service is excellent. Like seriously, big shout out to the SmartWings team for being so attentive and helpful. I emailed them, I explained my issue, and they sent back photos with detailed instructions and even color-coded circled areas pointing out where I went wrong and what I needed to do. And this was all within 24 hours of me contacting them. I will also say, make sure you accurately measure the blinds and maybe round down if you're mounting them inside. That way you won't have to like return them or make any sort of unnecessary cuts. The other issue I experienced and have read about from other users online is that these blinds will frequently disconnect, rendering the Alexa functionality useless. The remote control function, it always works. It's just the smart features that have disconnected from time to time. But, just like the previous issue I mentioned, customer service helped troubleshoot and ultimately fix my issues with the connection. Basically, it comes down to a distance issue. So if your smart hub, which in my case is the 4th generation Amazon Echo, if that is in another room or it's obstructed by a wall or something, it may disconnect. So sure enough, when I moved it within eyesight of the blinds, my disconnection issues largely disappeared. I will experience a disconnection issue once in a while, maybe like at most once a week, which is still kind of a lot, but either way, it's much, much better now that I moved the hub closer to the actual blinds. So I actually asked the team which smart home they recommended, which one offers the most stable connection, and they did recommend Samsung SmartThings with Zigbee. So if you have a SmartThings hub, or maybe you're completely new to the smart home scene and you're unsure which one to get, maybe you want to go with Samsung SmartThings because it'll offer the superior connection apparently. Now, SmartWings has a great product, and great products typically cost a lot. Not always, but typically they do. The SmartWings roller shades, they start at around $180, while the Drapery rod kit starts at $219. Once you add the curtain length, the motor, the type of controller, that price does shoot quite a ways up. The Drapery unit I have in my studio, which measures in at 136 inches wide, it costs $655, and the roller shades I have in my front room with 94-inch blackout curtains cost $516. So these aren't cheap, even if they are a bargain when compared to a company like Lutron, which is another company that makes smart blinds. They're based, I believe, in Pennsylvania. What I'd actually recommend is you wait for a sale, such as their upcoming Black Friday sale, where you can knock hundreds of dollars off using their Black Friday promo code. Or you could buy a unit now on their website using the link down below in the description, or via Amazon, since they do sell some units there. You can see if you like them and how they work. You can see if you have any of the connection issues I mentioned. You can see how the setup process is. And then you can consider upgrading your entire home later when they do go on sale. So if that's interesting to you, I'll place links to check out all the products mentioned in this video, as well as any promo or discount codes that I have access to. With that said, I want to thank SmartWings for sending these out for review and being generous with me while I worked to troubleshoot and get this video produced. Also, the customer service was great and much appreciated. These smart blinds have really completely changed my studio. They've improved my security for my home and for my studio. And they're just super techy and awesome, and I enjoy using them. So hope you guys enjoy them too if you decide to pick them up. With that said, I'm BoHD. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Consider liking, subscribing, all that fun stuff. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.